Hello everyone, it's EZScape, and welcome back to Meme Speedruns. As promised, I said I would do a part 2 if the first video did well, and it seemed like you guys liked it. I have some good selections for today's video, which ranged from a run with a world record time of 48 hours to a run that currently has an ongoing tournament. Let's get started, and I hope you all enjoy. First off, we have shit% from SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. So SpongeBob works hard. He has to fight off an entire robot infestation and save Bikini Bottom with the help of Sandy and Patrick. For someone that fights the good fight 24/7, it's surprising that he never has to use the restroom. Well, in this speedrun, we can help him to relieve himself by getting him to a porta potty in a little over a minute using some cheats and glitches. But wait, why don't we just guide him to the restroom in his house? Well, for one, he doesn't have a door, so we cannot accurately time this run, and also, his toilet's clogged, so get scammed, idiot. The beginning of the run requires you to do 68 inputs as fast as possible to unlock 50 golden spatulas, the bubble bowl and cruise bubble power-ups, and for cruise bubble to have cruise control. With this, speedrunners will now have access to Kelp Forest, which is where the porta potty is located, and will also allow for faster navigation because of cruise boosting, the primary speed tech in the game. The first trick that's performed uses a glitch called Sponge Glide, which allows speedrunners to skip the first 2 boss fights and reach Kelp Forest in a timely manner, because you know, SpongeBob has to go. He can hardly wait any longer, so once inside the level, the SpongeBob No Pants cheat is activated. That's right, we get nipple action in Super Mario Odyssey and SpongeBob crack action in this game. From here, find the porta potty, and timing ends when the door is closed. The current world record is 1 minute and 17 seconds by JBHJ. Next up is a category literally called Meme%, and it comes from a little game called Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy. So the goal of this run is not even to complete the game, just to have the longest run possible. These are the official rules. At least 50% of the run's video must be getting over it. The runtime is based on how long your video upload is. Otherwise, there are no other rules. Upload whatever you want as long as it has 50% getting over it. As you can see, the leaderboards took on this challenge. The fastest times are the lowest ranking times, and the lowest one is literally 10 milliseconds long. It's basically just a frame of the game's title screen. When we look at the world record, which again would be the longest time in the category, we have the champion time of 48 hours and 2 seconds by Aeiou. When viewing the run, we do in fact have at least 50% of getting over it, but we also have some game where it looks like a tree is growing, and then after some time we see a message, "Your tree is dead." Mr. Beast will be so upset. Oh, sorry, wrong picture. The rest of the run is of other games being played, and anime girls on screen. So if you'd like to break this record, you could probably play this game for 25 hours straight, then play Dance Till You're Dead for 24 hours, and while that's playing, you sleep. Leave the recording on, and once you hit 49 hours, congratulations, you got a world record. Before we continue on, I need to talk about today's sponsor, which is Ridge. I did recently become a father, so sponsors such as Ridge help in financially supporting my family. They sell products such as backpacks, phone cases, and their flagship product, the Ridge Wallet. The Ridge is a sleek design with 2 metal plates bound together by a durable elastic band. It's designed to help you carry less, but always have what you need. There are dozens of colors to choose from, and there are titanium, carbon fiber, and aluminum options to ensure there's an option for everyone. It has 30,000 5-star reviews, and there's a lifetime warranty if you love it, and free returns if you don't. I've personally made the switch from a leather bifold to a Ridge, and it's way more convenient. You can get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns by going to ridge.com/EZScape. That's ridge.com/EZScape and use code EZScape. A link will be in the description. If you thought the previous run was amazing, how about a 25-hour speedrun where there's only about a few hours of actual gameplay? This is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Low%. Low% exists for many games. The objective is to simply beat the game while getting as few items or collectibles as possible. But those runs don't take a full day to complete, so what's the deal in Twilight Princess? Well, there's a neat little trick called the pickup slide, and it allows for Link to travel through most walls as long as there is ground beneath them. But because the speed of Link is so slow, it can take hours of the game running to just get through a relatively thin gate or wall. To execute a pickup slide, Link is required to collect something that has the animation where Link turns around to show the player the item. This can be achieved by rolling into a rupee, picking up a rupee with a boomerang, or opening a chest. The reason this trick works is due to the fact that during the animation of showing the player the item, Link sways back and forth slightly. However, there appears to be a missing frame that would otherwise make the animation a perfect loop. Because of the missing frame, every cycle Link moves a small amount in some direction. This is pretty much the only category where pickup slide is used, and it allows for skipping things such as all 4 pose in Arbiter's grounds, or clipping through a wall at the start of Sacred Grove that normally requires Wolf Link to howl at the stone for. There are only 2 times on the leaderboards, with Anarakis holding the world record with a time of 25 hours, 23 minutes, and 34 seconds. So this next speedrun is probably the peak of meme speedruns. It comes from The Sims 4, and it's literally called Child Protection Services. Oh, what's the objective, you might ask? Well, you get pregnant, have a baby, and have it taken away. The crazy thing is that this whole process only takes less than 5 minutes, and there's an entire outline for the current meta. I'll condense it for the sake of simplicity, and it goes something like this. The strategy used is to first buy a house without stairs, as walking on a flat surface will save time. You rest in bed until a male neighbor arrives to welcome you to the neighborhood. Then you build a relationship by flirting with him, which eventually leads to fornicating in the bed. During pregnancy, you pretty much sleep all day and all night, and use the potty as needed. After the baby is born, you quickly randomize a first name and get into bed. Again, by sleeping all day and all night, Child Protection Services will appear because the baby is being neglected. I should mention that this entire process is also aided by 4x super speed, which occurs when your sim is in an inactive state such as sleeping or working, so keeping them like this for as long as possible is important. Also, what the actual hell? Look at how many runs are on the leaderboards. That's so many babies that were taken away. Currently, the world record is held by Momofen with a time of 4 minutes and 47 seconds. Next up we have a speedrun of Portal, but we're not going to shoot any portals. The way we're going to beat this game is by using the airboat command from Half-Life 2 to help clip through walls. Yes, that's right, this is airboat %. This run first originated from 097 Ace of Spades, in which he completed it in a little over 52 minutes. To quote his Reddit post, "CH create airboat is not an SV cheats protected command, so people joked about using an airboat to skip the vault in the beginning for a while. I decided to take that one step further and try and beat the entire game using airboats. And then I decided to go one step further than that and do it without ever picking up the portal gun. The rules for this category are simple. It's the same rules as Portal Out of Bounds, except that it allows the use of CH create airboats and doesn't allow picking up the portal gun or the portal gun upgrade. There's lots of cool things I found you can do with airboats, and the speedrun is actually very fun. I will hopefully be able to optimize this a lot more and find some lineups for the more difficult clips, but for now, this is good enough for me. And this run was definitely optimized further. The current world record is a time of 16 minutes and 29 seconds by Forgiven. My favorite part of the run would have to be in this section right here, where a ton of airboats are spawned in order to reach higher platforms. This is honestly the most creative way to beat Portal, as far as I know. Here we have all Doorbells from The Simpsons Hit and Run, where the goal is to go around and ding-dong ditch people. You must ring all 15 doorbells in the game, and the levels that they're present in must be done in order, which is 1 through 7, skipping 6, because no doorbells are present there. There is no returning to previous levels, and the unlock all missions cheat code is allowed, because let's face it, this run would be over an hour long if the code was not allowed. That would be too much of a meme. As for the movement strategies of the run, check out this jump off of a fire truck. By turning very precisely midair and landing into a tree, you somehow manage to stay alive and line yourself up perfectly with the first doorbell. Or when you get to play as Marge, all you have to do is simply run next door and ding dong Flanders. Of course, out of all the doorbells in the game, he would have the easiest one. Most of the run comes down to sheer execution and the small RNG with the traffic cars in the Bart 1 and Lisa levels. You can despawn traffic by flicking your camera back, which is actually used a lot in full game speedruns. Since most of the time is spent driving, it helps to despawn vehicles that have weird positioning. All in all, it's a pretty dank speedrun, and although the leaderboards don't show it, there is actually a 3-way tie for world record, which is a time of 5 minutes and 24 seconds by Gibstack, AskJT, and Liquid Wi-Fi. In 2005, one of the greatest Flash games of all time was released. It's Aeiou Fetch a Fruit. It also has one of the greatest moderation teams on speedrun.com, because although he's been offline on the website for 4 years, guess who helps moderate it? None other than the man himself. The run's main category is glitchless on easy difficulty, and it's less than a minute long. From a casual standpoint, the game is literally connect the dots. But I talked with smloader, who is sort of the poster boy for this game, and he shared that this game actually has all sorts of RNG behind it. Although the majority of the run is who can connect the fruit the fastest, the monkey's color and what they say contribute to saving and losing time. He showed me this RNG timetable, which was compiled by breaking down the game's code. The red monkey is fastest for bananas, and the blue monkey is fastest for limes as an example. So if you were to get bananas as the blue monkey, that's an automatic reset. Huh. No wonder why Clint moderates this game. He knows all about resets. There are 8 possible phrases that the monkeys say, with each having 4 unique ones. For example, if we're the red monkey and they say nice swinging, that's almost a full second time loss. Having them say excellent would be the biggest time save. As for the blue monkey, the biggest time save is for them to say great job, and the biggest time loss would be if woohoo was said. However, these don't make a huge difference compared to the red monkey. The God Run would be perfect execution in conjunction with the best monkey fruit phrase combinations. Unfortunately, smloader no longer holds the world record. That would be currently held by Burgess with a time of 50 seconds and 830 milliseconds. But nothing will ever beat this wholesome pop-off.
Yes! 52.61.
Next up is a speedrun that's a 1 in 23 chance of completion. It's called Camo Top % from old school RuneScape. The objective in this run is to complete Tutorial Island as fast as possible, and then hope for the Drill Demon random event, which is one of 23 random events that can appear. A Camo Top will always be the first piece of equipment you earn as a result of completing the event, hence where the category gets its name. As of right now, there are no longer consistent random event spawns when you arrive in Lumbridge. Sometime in late 2018, the mechanic to spawn them consistently was removed when they overhauled Tutorial Island. How it worked before the patch was a new account would always get a random event on their first 5-minute interval off of the island, since random events can't spawn on the island. So if you got off the island in 3 minutes, then it would spawn at 5 minutes. If you got off in 6 minutes, it would spawn at 10 minutes, and so on. Since the timer for the category starts when exiting character creation and not logging in, you would wait for the next spawn to line up as close as your projected time to get off the island. Because the first 5-minute spawn is now no longer forceable and completely random again, this makes the speedrun a lot more RNG based and a lot more difficult to get a world record. Who would imagine a run like this would be this technical? So yeah, all you do in the Drill Demon event is physical training such as push-ups, sit-ups, etc., which can be performed by clicking on the correct mats that correspond to Sergeant Damien's calls. Once you complete it, time ends, and congratulations, you now have a time in the greatest RuneScape speedrun of all time. The current world record is 5 minutes and 19 seconds by Aeiou. At some point or another, you've probably played Wii Sports if you've ever owned a Wii. I mean, it's the 4th most sold video game of all time, and the most sold Wii game of all time. What you might not be familiar with are some of the gems that exist on the leaderboards. I could totally make a video covering 10 meme runs from Wii Sports alone, but the category that I've selected today is Golf Give Up %, the speedrun where you get the worst possible score in the game of golf. On a 9-hole course, this equates to a score of plus 72, and once this score is reached, the text Give Up will flash on the screen, and the run is over. Throughout each hole, your objective is to simply swing towards the out of bounds plane or into water, and this is to get as many penalty strokes as possible. However, it's not as simple as just holding left or right and then swinging with max power. That would be too easy. This speedrun actually has super optimized strategies, and for a long time, it was thought that this category was dead. But then even bigger optimizations were found specifically on holes 1, 3, and 7. On hole 3, the old strategy was to scroll over 90 degrees to the right and then hit a driver into the out of bounds plane 7 times. The new strategy is to scroll a bit left, use an iron with 1 dot of power, and then do putts into the out of bounds. This saves 5 seconds, and this newly implemented strategy is where we'd see a new world record and a sick pop-off.
He is on fire today! My first attempt after the 619! You have got to be kidding me! What on earth's going on? What on earth is going on, man?
On hole 7, the old strategy was to scroll 90 degrees to the left and hit drivers towards out of bounds. Then repeat this 4 more times and do a small putt. The new strategy is to aim almost at the hole, use a driver with 1 dot of power, and then putt into the out of bounds. This saves 4 seconds. Lastly, on the first hole, the old strategy was to do a short putt, scroll about 80 degrees to the left, hit a driver into the out of bounds, and to repeat this for each subsequent stroke. The new strategy is to scroll almost backwards, use an iron with 1 dot of power, and then slam the rest of the shots off of a tree and backwards into the out of bounds. This also saves 4 seconds as no turning is required after the first shot. I gotta say, for a meme run, this is some amazing dedication. The current world record is 6 minutes and 11 seconds by Sir Tyler, and this run is actually faster than half of the regular 9-hole golf speedruns on the main leaderboards. The last entry for today is All Signs from Super Mario 64. This run has slowly become one of the hottest speedruns of 2020, and it's led by none other than Big Daddy Simply with a world record time of 26 minutes and 26 seconds at the time of this video. Now this category has existed for nearly 2 years. It wasn't until recently that it got some new traction. The goal is self-explanatory: read every sign in the game, and timing ends upon closing the text box on the final sign. There are 91 total signs in the game and are located in almost every single level. The purpose they serve is for new players to read up on possible hints in each level. However, there are many top runners that never even read the signs until they ran this category. Nothing crazy is done during the speedrun. It's all about optimizing your sign reading to star collecting ratio. The speed tech known as SBLJ is banned, but all other forms of BLJ and MIPS clip are allowed, so you don't even have to be a top SM64 speedrunner to get a decent time in this category. I mentioned in the beginning of the video of a speedrun with an ongoing tournament, and this is the one. On February 22nd, Simply announced the 16-man bracket All Signs tournament, and matches have already started as of March 11th. It will run until May 1st, which is the date of the grand finals. If you'd like to stay up to date, I'll have a link to the bracket in the description. Good luck to all competitors. If you enjoyed today's video, remember to leave a like on it. It's the best way to show support. There are still dozens of meme runs out there, so if you'd like to see a part 3, then let me know. The fact that the first video got over 1 million views and over 40,000 likes is still mind-boggling to me, so again, thank you all for that. I've also posted a new video over on my channel if you'd like to check it out. I'll have my YouTube linked in the description. Anyways, that's going to be it from me today. Subscribe to the channel for more speedrunning related content, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.